Hello there. Well, you may have noticed I haven't been posting as much. Getting back into a schedule after Christmas has been not difficult, but just full on. I've had some things crop up with family member, and even my cat's not feeling well right now, and work has just gone full tilt without, like, I thought this would be a little bit of a catching up period, but it's just full on. So anyways, no excuses, but I was wondering if people could help me out with choosing a new sketchbook. I've just completed one, and it's the Stillman and Birn Beta series. So it's got pretty good weight of paper. The Zeta series is a 270 GSM, so that's, you know, good enough for mixed media, so a little bit of wet, and it's smooth surface, so it's not like the Beta, which is cold press. So you can do all sorts of things in it. I like my sketchbooks to be kind of experimental, just playing with ideas, so I don't want to be too precious with them. I do use a lot of wet media, so I kind of need them to take that. But also I don't want to spend like too much on them, because I don't want to be so precious about them. And skipping ahead, I don't know even if I have it. I have one of those giant moleskin sketchbooks, watercolor sketchbooks, and you know, I think it was $50. I haven't even opened it yet because I am being precious with it, and that's not what you should do with your sketchbooks. So anyways, this one was finished in December. I've now moved on to this spiral ring sketchbook. Now, I got this at Above Ground Art Supplies in Toronto. They have sidewalk sale, I think once a year, and I got there pretty early on, so I snagged some sketchbooks that I wouldn't normally go for. I think this was $4, so it's not regular price $4, because Stillman and Birn again. It's the Beta series, so that is the cold press 270 GSM. I don't really like spiral bounds. I know they can sit flat open, and that's great, but I just don't like that on my shelf. I like to be able to write on the spine, you know, what year it is and all that. So I kind of like to have not a hardcover. I don't like hardcovers. I like the soft cover, sort of like that. But this works for now. I've been doing little experiments with things. I've sort of been doing some Domestica courses. The one with Laura McKendry, the charcoal and ink pet portrait ones. I just sort of been watching. I use those just kind of like when I'm doing other things, I watch them. I don't do any of the exercises or anything, but I just thought I'd experiment a little. I've done, if you've seen my A Gala review, those are the swatches. And you'll see from there that even though this is technically cold press watercolor, it just doesn't seem to, oh, there's charcoal coming off, flow into the paper well enough. Like I find that it's a little bit too flat. and very easy to get. Cauliflower, water lines. So you just have to control watercolor a lot better. I've also been doing figure drawing classes, so those have gone in here. So it's not as like sketchbooky that I like I like sort of the ones that I had when I was a student. Now I just got this cheap old one during lockdown. We couldn't really get things at the beginning. I went back to sketchbooking, this from July, but I had a couple of these hardcover books, and they have the cheapest of paper, so it's not really great for anything wet, because they'll do that buckling, but you're not precious with it. And I've also, you know, stuck things in to it that are on watercolor paper. I've made notes. I like making notes in my sketchbooks, so I don't want to be too precious with it. So, but I don't like, this is what happens when you're sticking stuff in on top of the paper and you're getting the sheets in between wet. This is what happens. You get this fan going, but it does have a really good binding and spine for labeling. So this is the one I've been using recently, also Stillman and Birn. Before that, I was using the Strathmore Mixed Media, and I kind of really like these. They're, you know, they're about $26 to $30. Good amount of pages. It does lie flat. It's soft bound. I kind of like that. I will make notes in it, usually on the opposite page. I usually work on this page, and then on the opposite page I'll save for making notes or doing swatches. So I really liked this. They're just really hard to find for some reason. Does anyone else find that? Like, I find the hardcover ones now, but not the soft cover. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's been going on for about 2 years, I would say. I got this one, Michael's had a buy one get one free, so I got 2 of them before I moved, and that was in May or June 2021. So anyways, I might go back to this if I can find them. I looked when I was in the States at Blix, but they only had the hardcover one. So then we go to, also cheap, are these Royal Talons art creation books. And again, the paper isn't the thickest. It's certainly thicker than the cheap art student sketchbooks that you find. And it's got this creamy kind of paper. So if you don't like the creamy color, these won't be for you. But they've got a nice surface. It does take a bit of water. It does bleed a little bit through, but then I was really hard on that one. You can put all sorts in here, and I like that. I can still do notes. I can even treat the page to some gouache and work on top of that. So I might see about a slightly bigger version of that, but we'll see. It's hardbound. Normally don't like that, but I think if it was a little bit bigger, I don't like the portrait size, the too long, like that size. I prefer something like that. So more an 8.5 by 11 rather than the like 8 by 5, I believe they are. So been using that. It's easy to pop into your bag and take with you everywhere. There's on the cheaper end of things, but still good for watercolor, are these Canson Montval watercolor sketchbooks. Again, the spiral bound. I didn't buy this. My husband just saw it on, I think, Amazon and decided to get it for me. Again, I've used them for swatching out, for experimenting, but mostly that. It's not, it's, you know, it's student grade watercolor paper, so I don't feel too bad about treating it rough and ready like a proper sketchbook. Again, I've been doing figure drawing, and so that kind of goes in there, but that's almost finished as well. So then we come to some other ones that I've used for going around either travel, like this one, the Seawhite at Brighton. So I first used this for my New York trip, and I'll pop it up there. There's a sketchbook tour that I have up on YouTube. This one is from when we were in Nevada and Utah in November, and I think I'm just getting used to the texture that's in these. It's very, I want to say like regulated, almost like, if you know what I mean by laid paper, the way they used to make paper and they used to lay the pulp onto wires, and so you see the lines almost in the paper of the wires, and that's kind of what made me think this reminded me of. So again, I've treated some pages when I'm doing pastels. You can put down on a pastel ground, that helps, but I don't know, it does take watercolor nicely, but there's something about this regulated pattern that I don't like, that I find the Stillman and Birn to be a lot better. You don't notice the textures. What I'm thinking is the issue. It's just there doing what it needs to do. You don't notice it as much as you do here, but maybe you like that look. So it's a nice little book, reasonably priced. You can get them at Jackson's. So I have this little square one. I may take this one with me. We're going traveling again in beginning in March, so that might become that travel little journal. And I miss doing that, you know, during the pandemic when you couldn't really travel. I missed doing travel sketchbooks. I always liked to do that. Hadn't done it for years. You know, I've been focusing more on photography, and I had been neglecting some painting and things like that, but now I'm fully committed to that. So the other thing that I got was Jackson's was having a sale, so when I got these, I also got this, the Delta series, which is actually an ivory toned. So it's maybe the Art Towns is a little bit creamier. This is a little bit lighter, a little bit more subtle. So I got those because they didn't have the ones that I've been using with the white. So those will be my more urban sketching books, because that's what these are. And you'll have seen my other sketchbook tours where I've been going around the city and a little bit sometimes beyond. Now, speaking of toned paper, this one's a Hahnemühle, and it's a gray toned. And I haven't really worked with it too much. Not because I don't like it. I really like the paper. It does have a little bit of a pattern to its texture, but that's okay. It doesn't really hit you in the face. Yeah, I like these, but you know, when you know what you're going to put in them, they're fine. But if I was going out sketching, I think I still want more of a white tone or very subtle cream tone. Then there's specialty ones like this guy. And again, I haven't used this very much, but it's easy to pop in with your other sketchbooks, so I shouldn't be ignoring it so much. With Urban Sketchers One Day, there are different branches in different cities, and the one in Toronto is really great. I can't wait to go out with them more this coming year. They still have meetups during the year. I just haven't been going to them since winter. But they had one where we went to watch a dance rehearsal. So that's what that one's based on. And then we had a meetup in St. Lawrence Market, which is near me in Toronto. And so I painted that. And that was kind of nice to get that panoramic expanse. And it's really nice texture. Again, it's not patterned really. And you can also tear it off. It has a little tear strip here. And again, but I don't mind it on these kind of different, unique sketchbooks. That's fine. The other brand that most people go to is Moleskine. Now Moleskine has two different types of paper. They have a regular paper and then they have watercolor paper. This is the watercolor paper, and I don't know if you can pick up that texture or not. And I've just been doing, you can treat it almost like a panoramic sketchbook. And frankly, I kind of forgotten about it. I have these others, Moleskine books, but the regular ones I mostly use as journals, like writing journals. So I thought that this up on the shelf was one of those. But I will use it now that I remembered that I have it. Again, it's not really like, it's a more special sketchbook to me with the nicer watercolor paper. So it wouldn't be one that I would write notes in or use as swatching. I would use it more for exactly what it's kind of meant for, which is doing full scale paintings or drawings in. So, and you know, it's on the upper end of price. So I'm not precious with it, but I'm not as free with it as I was with the Strathmore. And so that's kind of what I've been looking at. I have another also from the sale at Above Ground. This was a Strathmore, but it was toned. And last weekend I was doing figure drawing in that, and it was nice to have that medium for the medium shading. And then you just had to worry about the darks and highlights. So that was nice, and it's not a really thick paper, so you have to kind of be mindful of not putting anything wet on it because it won't last. So that's Strathmore, and it's the 400 series tone tan paper. But maybe you can help me out with choosing my next sketchbook. I'm going next week to art supply stores to see about a sketchbook, but also to pick up some stuff for my other job, and which is looking at paintings and doing cataloging and condition reporting for an auction house in the city. And so I had to pick up some supplies for that as well. So that's my excuse to go sketchbook shopping. And feel free in the comments below to suggest, you know, maybe ones that I haven't looked at yet. And let me know what your favorite is. Maybe it's you work differently and maybe you have ones that work for you, and I'd just be interested to know what other people use their sketchbooks for, because I think they are still important. I know some artists don't use sketchbooks, they go right into a painting, but I like working out ideas. I like working out using different techniques and even different subject matters that I wouldn't normally focus on. I like doing all that in my sketchbook and writing notes and, you know, even shopping lists and swatching things out. So I need like a kind of all-rounder sketchbook, and I will leave these ones for more specific tasks. All right, well, thanks very much, and I hope to keep up more regular posting, but like I said, it's kind of been a difficult January. And hopefully things won't be too bad in February, but we'll see. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.